Hi everyone, today we'll be going through GCSE Edexcel Foundation Paper 2 Predicted Paper for 2024. Please still revise every topic since there is no guarantee what will come up on the day, and I have timestamps in the description so you can go over a certain topic if you do want to. I have also linked above and in the description other predicted paper that also has some topics that can come up in Paper 2. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell because we will be doing other predicted papers for all the other exam boards for math and other subjects. Let's get started. Question 1. You can use this graph to change between pounds and euros. Euros on the y-axis and pounds on the x-axis. A. Change 6 euros into pounds. First thing we are going to do is we're going to look at where there's 6 euros. So then we are going to draw a line. We stop exactly where we touch this conversion line that they have already drawn for us. As soon as we stop where they reach it, we start going down so that we can see in the x-axis, you can see over here that it is 5. So the answer is 5 pounds. Amy changes 50 pounds into euros. How many euros should she get? As you can see over here, we do not have 50 pounds so that we can do the same method that we did for part A. So what we are going to do is we're going to use the graph so that we can find the conversion rate. So we already know that 6 euros is going to be the same as 5 pounds. So now since we do already have pounds, we are going to see how much 1 pound is. We do this by doing 6 divided by 5, which is 1.2. Now that we know 1 pound is the same as 1.2 euros, all we have to do is 50 times by 1.2, and the answer will be 60 euros. Question 2. A equals 4b. A. Work out the value of A when B equals 3. This is a substitution, so all we do is every time we see B, we are going to substitute 3 instead of B. So let's rewrite the equation. It will be A equals 4. Here it says B, so instead we're going to put our 3. So A equals 4, 3. Now, this means 4 times B. So we'll do the exact same with 3. This is just 4 times 3. So A equals 4 times 3, and therefore A equals 12. P equals 4D minus 3. B. Work out the value of P when D equals 2. Same way, all we do is every time we see a D, we are going to put a 2 instead. P equals 4, where there's the D, we put 2, minus 3. This is the same, so that means 4 times D. Therefore, this will be 4 times 2. So if we make this thing, it will be P equal 4 times 2 minus 3. Now, with BIDMAS, we know that multiplication comes first and then we subtract. Therefore, we do 4 times 2 first, so it will be 8 minus 3, so P equals 5. Question 3a. Factorize 3x plus 6. When we say factorize, what we mean is that we find a highest common multiple between both of them, and we put it outside into brackets so that we can simplify it. Here it is 3, and then we now open our brackets. Now what we do is we just divide 3 by each term. We do 3 divided by 3x, that is x. Now we do 3 divided by 6, so it's plus 2. B. Expand and simplify 5y minus 2 plus 2y minus 3. Now with expand and simplify, as we here divided to make brackets, now so that we can go back, we must times. So we'll do 5 times each term, and then we're going to do the same on this side, and then we're going to simplify it. So let's start with 5 times y, that's 5y. And 5 times by minus 2 is minus 10. Now we do plus 2y times y, that's plus 2y. We do plus 2 times minus 3, that is minus 6. Now what we do is every single term, we take it apart with itself. We don't involve them with each other. So we do 5y plus 2y, that's 7y. And now we do minus 10 and minus 6, that's minus 16. Question 4. Here is a pictogram. It shows the number of boxes of chocolates Mr. Fern sold last week from Monday to Friday. What is the fraction of total numbers of these boxes of chocolate did Mr. Fern sell on Tuesday? So first thing we do is we look at our key. It says 4 of these boxes are altogether represents 20 boxes of chocolates sold. First thing we are going to do is we're going to see how much one of these boxes are, just one of them. So we know that these 4 small boxes equal 20. So if you do 20 divided by 4, it will equal 5. So one box is the same as 5. This will just make it easier for us to really know what the pictogram is saying. So we want to see what the total number, fraction of the total number over Tuesday. So first, let's see the total number that Mr. Fern sold from Monday to Friday. So on Monday, he sold 20, as that's a whole box. And then we have 2 of these small boxes, so it's 10. So that's 30. 2 big boxes, that is 40. Now he has 2 big boxes and half, so 10. That is 50. He has 2 big boxes and he has 3 small of them. So 3 times 5 is 15. So that's 35. 2 big boxes and 1 small one. So that's 5. So that is 45. Now, if we add all of these together, we know that the total number that he sold is 200. That is our denominator, because we're going to we do Tuesday, whatever he sold on Tuesday, and that is over the total number that he has sold. So with 200, it will be over 40. Question 5. Here is a cube. A. How many vertices does a cube have? Vertices is the same as corners. So we just can see from the diagram and we'll just count how many corners this cube has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On the grid, draw a net of a cube. A net of a cube basically means when you open the cube up and you change it from 3D to 2D, that is the shape that is going to be, so that you can just put it back together. First thing we are going to do our base. So we choose a side and that's our middle. So then we put it right into the middle over here. Now we can see it has 2 places that are on the top. It has this on the top and this over here on the top. We are going to draw that. These are the 2 top. Now how many more sides does it have? We already drew one side and it has 3 more sides on the other. So we'll just do 3 over here. 1, 2, 3. You can also do it so it looks different as long as it ends up being 2 on the top, which is how it is, and 4 sides. So it could also look something like this. Still ends up being 4 in the middle and 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. The diagram shows a cube of 3 centimeters. C. Work out the total surface area of this cube. Surface area means the overall area of every single side that this shape has. In this case, it's a cube. So it's this plus this plus this plus the back plus the bottom plus the side. It's all that area overall together. So this is where the net comes in useful. We know every single thing is 3 centimeters since it's a cube, so it's all equal. So we do 3 times 3, let's say, so that we can find out what the front is. That is going to equal 9. So we know each one now is 9 since all of them have the same side. To find area, you do length times width. Now you just have to add them all together. So there is 6 9s. So adding all of them is the same as doing 9 times 6. The answer is 54. 6. Here are the first 5 terms in a number sequence. Write down the next 2 terms of this number sequence. We are going to find out what the common difference is between each one of them so that we know how to do it for the rest. So we can just see what the difference here. We know here it's minusing by 3. 37 to 34, that is minus 3. 34 to 31, that's minus 3. 31 to 28 is minus 3 as well. Now to find the next 2 sequence, we do the exact same. Do minus 3 from 28, so that's 25. And from 25, we minus 3, that's 22. Explain how you got your answer. This is basically explaining what this common difference is. What we did, so all we did is we subtracted by 3. Here are first 5 terms of a different number sequence. Find the 8th term of the sequence. This is the exact same as the first part of this question. However, now we're just going to skip a few and we're going to go directly to 8. First thing again, we do a common difference. Here there's negatives, so we're going to start with the 2 positives to make it easier for ourselves. We know the difference between 3 and 8 is 5, and it's increasing each time. So this is the exact same everywhere. You just increase by 5. This is the 5th term. So if we just put it here, we know 8, this is the 5th term. We are going to find the next number. This will be the 6th term. That's not the one we want, so we're going to do it again. 7th term, not the one we want, and 8th term, which will be our answer. So we are just going to add by 5. So 8 plus 5, that is 13. Add by 5 again, that is 18. Add by 5 again, that is 23. So the answer is 23. 7. A. Use a word from the box which describes the possibility of each of the following events. I. When you throw an ordinary coin and you get a tail. Ordinary coin. You know that a coin has two sides. It has tails and head. Therefore, it's a half-half. So it's 50-50 of something happening, which means it is evens. Evens means the possibility is 50-50. 2i, when you throw an ordinary dice, you get a number less than 7. We know that an ordinary dice goes from 1 to 6, which is all less than the number 7, meaning it is 100% chance that the number is going to be less than 7. Therefore, it's certain. Certain means 100% possibility. Bill has some counters in a bag. 3 of the counters are red and 7 of the counters are blue. The rest of the counters are yellow. Bill takes a random of a counter from a bag. The probability that he takes a yellow counter is 2 over 7. How many yellow counters are in the bag before Bill takes this counter? So even though they do give us how much the probability of getting a yellow counter, there is not enough information for us to know what that is equal to. So instead, what we are going to do is we're going to see what is the probability that it takes one that is red or blue, since we do have the number of counters that are red and blue. So because it's 2 to 7 for a yellow counter, it must be 5 over 7 to get a counter that is red or blue. Now we do this by just doing 1 minus 2 over 7. So because now we know that it's 7 over 5 to get a counter that's red or blue, we are going to try and make an equation out of this. So we know overall there are 3 plus 7, which is counters of red and blue, over n, which is the overall amount of counters in this bag. Because we say n because we don't actually know how many counters are in yellow, so we can't put a figure. And that is the same as 5 over 7. Now, since we made the equation, all we're going to do now is find out what n is. We do this now by cross-multiplying so that we can get rid of the fractions. So we do 7, and that's times 10, because 3 plus 7 equals 10. That equals 5n. 70 equals 5n. Therefore, n equals 14. However, 14 is the overall number of counters, since that's n. It is not the number of yellow counters, which is what they are asking for. So it doesn't end there. So we are going to minus that from what we already know. We know that 3 of them are red and we know 7 of them are blue. So we know 4 is left. And what's left over is the rest of the counters are yellow. So there is 4 yellow counters that are in the bag. Question 8. Reflect the shaded triangle in the y-axis. Since they said to reflect it on the y-axis, we will be reflecting, and this is the line over here. Now all we do, it's a matter of just counting the boxes. So we take every single corner. We'll start with this corner over here. This is 2 away from this y-axis, so all we're going to do is also make it 2 away on the other side. So it'll be over here. Now we do the same for this corner over here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So we'll just go and it will be 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. And then we are going to take it from this corner over here. 1, 2, 3, 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4 away. Now all we have to do is just link up all the points. So just draw again, and this is the reflection. Question 9. Sarah wants a music magazine each month for a year. She can pay £3.5 each month or $37.2 for the year. She pays $37.2 for the year. How much cheaper is this than paying $3.5 each month? We know that in a year it is 12 months. So all we have to do is to see how much she pays in a year. We just have to times 3.5 times 12. So that's every month of the year. And if we do that, we would get the answer £42. This is because we need to make sure that we are doing it from the same amount of time. So you could have either did year and divide this by 12 so you can see every month, or exceed every year. They need to be in the same time period so we know how much they're paying. So we did it in year. So since it's 42 per year, if she did 3.5 each month, we are just going to minus that now from 37.2. And the answer will be 4.8. So it's 4.8 pounds cheaper. Question 10a. Solve 8f plus 19 equals 15. So first thing we are going to do is we want all the letters to be on one side and we want all the normal whole numbers to be on the other. So when we switch between this equal sign, if we put one thing to the other thing, we need to make sure all the negative turns into positive, all the positive turns into negative. Every time you times, you do it to the other way, it will be divide times divide. So let's start. Over here, it's plus 19. If we put it on the other way, it'll be minus 19. So it's 8f equals 15 minus 19. So 8f is going to equal minus 4. Now we'll see f. Because here you times by 8, it's 8 times f. If you put it on the other way, it will be divide. So it will be minus 4 divided by 8, which means f is going to equal minus 0.5. Solve 2c plus 5c equals c plus 8. Again, we'll do it one by one. Let's move this to the other side. We'll make this side all the numbers. So it'll be 2c equals c plus 8 minus 5. Now we'll move the c. So it'll be 2c minus c equals 8 minus 5. So if we do this now, it will be c, since 2c minus c is 1c, and it will be 8 minus 5, which is 3. So the answer is 3. Question 11. Chris works in a cafe. At noon one day, he records the number of customers sitting in each table in a cafe, and here are his results. Work out the total numbers of tables in a cafe. All we are going to do is just add up all the numbers of tables that is over here. So if you do 4 plus 5 plus 10 plus 7 plus 3 plus 1, we will get 30, which is the answer. B. Work out the total number of customers sitting at the tables in the cafe. What we are going to do is we are going to times each thing together. Why? This is because here it's the number of customers sitting at a table and this is the number of table. So there is what the table means is that there is 5 numbers of tables where there is 1 customer sitting at that table, which means it's 5. That's the same as doing 5 times 1. There is 0 numbers of customers sitting at 4 of these tables, so that is 0 overall. We have 10 tables and there's 2 customers sitting, so 10 times 2 is 20. We have 7 tables where there's 3 customers sitting at those tables, that means it's 21. 3 tables with 4 customers sitting at each one, that would be 12, and 1 with 5, so that's just 5. So now all we have to do is just add 5 plus 20 plus 21 plus 12 plus 5, which will equal 63. Work out the mean number of customers sitting at the table. All you have to do for the mean number is we see the overall customers, how many customers we have sitting at these tables, and we divide that by the amount of tables there is in that restaurant. So we do 63 divided by 30, and we will get 22.1, which is the answer. 12a, write 7 over 10 as a decimal. All you have to do is put this into a calculator and you'll get 0.7. If you don't get that in the beginning, all you have to do is click this button over here that looks like that and it will get it to you. So the answer is 0.7. Write 0.45 as a percentage. How do you convert this decimals into percentage? You just times it by 100. So this will be 45%. Write 30% as a fraction and give your fraction in the simplest form. So we do 30 divided by 100. This is because we just divided as if when we did the percentage, we times it. Now we want to go back into the other way. So all we do is that we just divide it so we get it in the normal form. Now they do want it in the simplest form. So with the simplest form, we just need to find something that we can divide both of them by. We can divide both by 10. So it will end up being 3 over 10, which is the answer. Write 2.738 correct to the 2 decimal places. So first we're going to see where 2 decimal places is. It's over here. They want basically a number where it's 1 point and then 2 numbers after this decimal point over here. So if this number, this third number over here, is greater than 5, then we are going to round up. If it's less than 5, so 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, we round down. So you can see 8 is more than 5, so we're going to round this number up, which means we just increase it, so it will be 2.74. Question 13a, simplify e plus e plus e minus e plus 3e. So let's do this one by one. We'll do these e all added together. So e plus e, that's the same as 1 plus 1 plus 1. So it'll be 3e. Now if we minus it by e, it'll be minus e. So 3e minus e. So this e, pretend there's like a 1 behind it, which if there's just one letter, it means just one of that e. So 3e minus e is the same as 2e. Now all we have to do is just add it with the last one. So it's plus 3e, and plus 3e is 5e. B, simplify 7 times g times h. When you times, you just put them all together. So it'll just be 7gh. No addition, no subtraction, just put it all together because you're timesing it with each other. C, simplify 3a plus d minus 2a plus 5d. Now, because there's two different letters, which means there's two different terms, you can only plus and minus within the same letter. So you can only do 3a minus 2a. The d's have nothing to do with it, and then we'll do plus d plus 5d. So let's start with 3a minus 2a is just a, because it's 1a. And then we do plus d plus 5d, so plus 60, which is the answer. We treat them as separate ones and we just put them together at the end for the overall equation. Question 14. The scatter graph shows some information about 10 pine cones from the same tree. It shows length and width of each pine cone. So we have width on the y-axis and we have length on the x-axis. A. Describe the relationship between the length and the width of the pine cone. So when they say relationship, they want to see if it's positive or negative. If it goes up, that means it is a positive. And if you see it going down like this, it means it's negative. And now when they say describe, all they want is for you to explain what this means. This basically means if it's positive, which is over here, it means as whatever the y-axis increases, the x-axis also increases, which is what's happening here. So what we're going to say is we're going to say as the width increases, the length also increases. As the length of the pine cone increases, the width also increases. Another pine cone from this tree has a length of 8.4 centimeters. Estimate the width of this pine cone. All we're going to do is that they tell us its length of 8.4. We're going to see where length 8.4 is. It will be around here. First thing we are going to do is we need to get the line of best fit. So the line of best fit, we're just going to draw it. We are going to try so that it's the same amount on each side. Same amount of crosses in each side, so it basically goes around the middle. So once you do it, you go 8.4 and you keep going up until you reach that line that you just drew. Once you reach it, you're just going to go from the other side and you're going to read what it is on the width. So if you see over here, it is 6.3 centimeters, and that is the answer. And with this question, because every one line of best fit is different, every answer will be different, so it's always going to be a range. So for this, the range is between 6.1 and 6.4. Question 15. Here is a list of numbers. From the numbers in the list, write down a square number. A square number basically means something that can be square rooted. So the only number here that can be square rooted, you can put this into your calculator to figure out, is 25, since it will square root into a 5, because 5 squared is the same as 25. B. From the list numbers in the list, write down a number that is a multiple of both 4 and 6. First thing we can do is just do 4 times 6. That is 24. And that's the only thing that can be times together to make it. And then the other way is that you can see whatever can be divided by both 4 and 6 will be the answer. So for this, it's only 24. Write down all the prime numbers in this list. Prime numbers is basically anything that can only be divided by 1 and itself. So first thing we can do is that if it's any of these even numbers that we can see, it's not going to be any of those because those can be divided by 2. So we're going to remove all the even numbers. Now, anything that we know that can be divided by another number will be out. So it cannot be 21 because since that can be 7 times 3. It cannot be 27 because that can be 3 times 9. So the only numbers are 23 and 29. Question 16. Change 1,756 grams into kilograms. So grams to kilograms is basically just divide by 1,000. And that's the other way. So if you do kilograms to grams, that's times by 1,000. So all we have to do is divide this by 1,000, and that will be 1.756. Question 17. Write down the ratio 4.5 to 2.25 in the form N1. So because they want it in the form N1, what you're going to do is it's 4.5, 2.25. They want it in 1. So they just want to see what's in this area over here. So all you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to divide it by this. So it's going to just be 4.5 divided by whatever number is here, which is 2.25. That's going to equal 2. So the answer will be 2 to 1. Question 18. Write 4.7 times 10 to the power of minus 1 as an ordinary number. Now we're just going to put 4.7, and because it's minus 1, if it's minus means that we are going to take the decimal point and we're going to put it this way. If it is a normal number, let's say this 3 over here, we're going to go 3 times that way. But since it's minus, we're going to remove that. So we'll put the decimal point over here. So it's 0.47. All we're going to do is put 0 over here, so it's 0.47. B. Work out the value of 2.4 times 10 to the power of 3 and times that by 9.5 times 10 to the power of 5 and give your answer in standard form. With these, we are going to do them separately. This is 2 different parts, and then we're going to put them together at the end. So we're going to first do 2.4 and we times that by 9.5. And that equals 2.28. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 times to the power of 3, and we times that by 10 to the power of 5. This is where laws of indices take place. If we do anything where it's times together, it's basically the same as just A plus B. So it's these powers, we just add them together. So 3 plus 5 is just 8. So it will be times by 10 to the power of 8. However, with standard form, there is 2 things that needs to be true so that we can say that it is in standard form. The first number, which is over here, has to be between 1 to 10. So right now it's 22.8, which is not correct. It needs to be to the power of 10, between 1 and 10. So what we could do is we just divide it by 10 so that we get 2.28. And because we divide by 10, we just add 1 over here, so it'll be times 10 to the power of 9, which is the answer. The other thing so that it can be a standard form is just that you do it times 10 to the power of a number. And this can be positive or negative. Times 10 to the power of 9. Question 19. Use your calculator to work out square root of sin 25 plus sin 40 over cos 25 minus cos 40. Write down all the figures in your calculator display. So when you put this into a calculator, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put the square root sign. And then you're going to put your fraction. Then it gives you the option to start at the top. So you're going to put sin, and then you're in brackets, you're going to put that 25 degrees. Then you're going to do the same. You're going to put plus, and then you put the 40. Then you're going to press the down button so you can go down, and then you're going to say cos. In brackets, you put the degree, and you do minus, and you put the degree. And then you press equal, and you write down everything that comes. So it's 2560397. Everything that comes. B. Write your answer to part A correct to 2 decimal places. So they only want it till here. So as we did before, we're going to see this value over here. We're going to see because it's more than 5, we are going to round up in this. So it'll be 2.76. Question 20. Anil wants to invest £25,000 for 3 years in a bank. Which bank will you give Anil the most interest at the end of the 3 years? And you must show all your working out. Most interest basically just means the most money that he can get at the end of the time. So we have the personal bank and we have the secure bank. We're going to do this one each time. So we'll start with the personal bank over here. We start with year 0. Here we start with 25,000. Now in year 1, we can see that it increases by 2% each year. So what we do is we're just going to times this by 1.02. This 1 basically means 100%, so just 25,000, and we are adding it by that 2%. So at the end of year 1, we are going to get 25500. Now we're going to do in year 2. In year 2, we are going to now no longer use this initial 25,000 because it's compound interest. We are going to use this value over here. Now we're going to times that by 1.02 because 2% now each year is increased based on whatever you end with that prior year. So since you times it together, you are going to get, at the end of the year 2, you get 26010. Now we're going to do at the end of the year 3, and that's going to be the exact same. So at the end of year 3, you are going to get 26530.2. That's how much money you'll have at the end of the 3 years. Now we're going to go and we're going to see how does this compare to secure bank. So we'll start with year 0. Again, we start with £25,000. So the first year. In the first year, however, secure bank says that they get 4.3% for the first year. So what we are going to do is we're going to times this now by 1.043, 4%, and this is 0.3%. So then once we times that together, we will get at the end of year 1, we will get 26075. Now we'll do in year 2. So now secure bank says for any extra year after that first year, we get 0.9%. So we're just going to times this by 0.009. Remember that 10% is the same as 0.1, and then 1% is the same as 0.01. So this is to the third decimal place. So if we times that now by 1.009, at the end of year 2, we are going to get 26309.675. Now we times that again by 1.009, and we are going to get 26546.46208. Now all we have to see is see which one gets more money. We can see over here that it's this money at the end that is going to get more. And Neil will get so much more using year 3, and this is just by £16. So it is the secure bank. He should go with the bank, which is the secure bank, and you should just write a sentence at the end explaining why. 21. Here is a map of an island. A straight road joins the two villages, Backley and Crimford. A. Work out the real distance between the two villages. Over here, they gave us the scale, which is 1 centimeter represents 0.5 kilometers. All we're going to have to do is we're going to take our ruler, and we are going to have it so that you put your starting point from here, and then you're going to read it. So this is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 5 centimeter, and we end it at around 5.8 centimeters. So 5.8 centimeters, we know 1 centimeter represents 0.5 kilometers. So all we're going to do is just times it by 0.5, and our answer will be 2.9 kilometers. Now, of course, this is going to be different for everyone because it really does depend on the ruler that you have and how big the paper is. So over here, it might not be the same. If you do it on paper, it should be around 2.75. B. Find the bearing of Crimford from Backley. So they already draw for us the north line, and we just keep going down. So it is this angle over here that they want. So all we do is you get your protractor and you put it in so that over here you have your protractor so that it's lined up at this line over here. You draw it and then you put it, and then if you do it, you should measure it and it will get around 130 degrees. Question 22. Work out the value of x and give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So you want x over here. So because we have an angle and we have a length, we are going to use SOHCAHTOA. The reason why I do it like this is so that we can understand, and it's really so that we can know what equation we are going to use. So this is sin, cos, and tan. So first let's label our triangle. So here is the angle that we want. Whatever is opposite to the angle, that is our opposite. Whatever is the long line that is between, this is the hypotenuse, the diagonal. And whatever is just right next to it, this is the adjacent. So here we can see we have the hypotenuse, and we are trying to find the opposite. So we have O and H, so we are going to use sin. So we have the angle, which goes with sin, so that's 34. We want the opposite, so we'll just leave it as O, and we have the hypotenuse, so it's 178. Now, so we can find it, we'll just change the subject so that we can have O as we want. So it'll be sin 34, and we times that by 178, and that will equal O. And if you put that into a calculator, you will get 99.5. 23. Sally used her calculator to work out the value of the number y. The answer on her calculator displays begin with 8.3. Complete the error interval of y. And this is 8.3 because it's equal to, so whatever it starts with, and you go up by 0.1, and this is to 8.4. Question 24. Here is a graph of y equals x squared minus 6x plus 4. A. Write down the y-intercept of the graph of y equals x squared minus 6 plus 4. The y-intercept is wherever this curve over here intercepts and goes on where the y-axis is. So wherever it crosses the y-axis, here it crosses as 4, is what the y-intercept is. So we'll just put 4. B. Write down the coordinates of the turning point of the graph y equals x squared minus 6x plus 4. The turning point is wherever it goes from positive to negative. It's the bottom where the bell curve is. So over here, it is this point over here, because as you can see, it's going down this whole time. At this point, it's basically straight, and then it goes up again. It's where it changes directions. So all we have to see is read what the coordinates are. So the x coordinate is 3, and if you go in the y, you can see that the y coordinate is minus 5. We always start with the x coordinate, so it's 3, then the y, so minus 5. Use the graph to estimate for the root of x squared minus 6x minus 4. What the roots mean wherever it crosses the x-axis. If we look at the graph, we're just going to see where the curve crosses the x-axis. All we have to do is read them. So this is around 5.2. Over here, it's around 0.8. 0.8 and 5.2. Question 25. Each exterior angle of a regular polygon is 15 degrees. Work out the number of sides of the polygon. So all we do, we know that overall in a polygon, all of them will equal 360. So we do 360 divided by 15, and the answer is 24. So it's 24 numbers of sides. Question 26. BEG is a triangle. ABC and DEF are parallel lines. Work out the size of the angle X and give a reason of each stage of your working. So what we are trying to find, X, which is BGE over here. First thing that we are going to do is we are going to find out what this over here is. Now, because ABC are parallel and DEF are parallel lines, we know that whatever crosses this parallel lines between these two angles, they're always going to equal 180 degree. So we know if we do 180 minus 110, this angle over here will be 70 degrees. The next thing we do is we know in ABC, we know that in a straight line, all the angles are going to equal 180. Since that over here, this is how 180 looks like. So we already have 35 and 70. So if you do 180 minus 70 minus 35, we can find out this angle over here, which would be 75. Now, the next thing we have to do is find this angle over here. Again, we know that this is going to all equal 180, so all we do is 180 minus 110 minus 25, and that's going to equal 45 degrees. Now, the last thing we do is that we know all the angles in a triangle are going to equal 180. That is really the magic numbers of triangles. So we know this angle and this angle over here, so we just need to find out this angle. So we just do 180 minus 75 minus 45, and that is going to equal 60, which is the answer.